Alright, so the rumors are indeed true. There wasn't really any rumors about this online at all. I don't know why I started the video off like this, but for those of you who haven't heard, I just finished Marvel Spider-Man 2. What do you want, dog? What is this dog doing? I don't know if you guys can see her, but she's just fucking, oh man. Truly a great start to this video. Again, yeah, I finished Marvel Spider-Man 2. Really good game. There's legitimately not that many knocks that I have on it. It's definitely one of the best games I have ever played. I will still say I think I like the first one more. I know it's a bit of a debate on the internet right now on which game is better. Is it Marvel Spider-Man 2 or Marvel Spider-Man? Look, I really liked Marvel Spider-Man. I just think the Spider-Man we saw in Marvel Spider-Man was probably the most perfect we've ever seen in really like nearly any media at all, and that's just how I genuinely believe about it. But again, I thought this one was really good. They developed his character more and more, and again, I definitely have a lot of positives and negatives. We'll start off with the negatives though, which there really isn't many. Like, I'm not gonna lie, again, I thought this game was near perfect. I had the first game as like a 10 out of 10, right? I thought the first game was just fantastic, like one of the best games. I think people forget as well, the first game kind of changed gaming in my opinion. And what I mean by that is I think we as a society forget that in like 2017, the only games that were coming out were just fueled with microtransactions, and that's all we were getting, and everyone hated it. The games were terrible. The multiplayer games with microtransactions were just shocking. But then in 2018, we knew this Spider-Man game was coming, and the creators literally said, look, no microtransactions or anything like that. And we got that game and God of War. And then since these two games came out, all we've been getting are like terrific single-player games. The multiplayer games focused on microtransactions haven't been as big. So again, I had Spider-Man 1 as like a 10 out of 10. This one probably a 9 out of 10. I think there was some negatives. And first of all, I'll start off with this new parlay. I think it was called like the parlay system, where essentially what happens is an opponent, a bad guy, an NPC, will come at you, and essentially if they're doing a like heavy-ish attack, it will be yellow, and if they're doing a heavy attack, it will be red. Now, in normal, I'd be like, this is a really good feature because it actually makes the game harder. But then, in reality, the game mechanics of this parlay is just so bad that half the time it just doesn't work. So the goal is to pretty much click L1, I think it is, or L2 off the top of my head. It's L1 and click, you know, X to jump away or whatever, or whatever it is. I can't even remember. It's been a couple days since I've played already, but again, the goal is to essentially do that, and your Spider-Man will basically push off and it will stop the heavy attack, which always does like a quarter to a third of your health bar. But half the time it just doesn't work, especially if you're like in a jumping animation. The game just won't function and do the parlay against the heavy attack, and it's so annoying when you're fucking spamming it or holding it. Like, I've tried both, and it just is not working because you're stuck in some animation or something is happening where you're getting hit from a different, you know, enemy. Man, it's so annoying. I absolutely hated how they handled that. The other, you know, thing that I'm not sure that I liked a whole lot was Miles Morales, the story in this game felt really kind of second fiddle to Spider-Man. Now, that's what I personally wanted, right? Now, I personally am a much bigger fan of Spider-Man than Miles Morales. I've never really found Miles Morales' character as interesting as some others. But with how this game was advertised and whatnot, it really did feel like they were trying to build it as Spider-Man would have this big story, but Miles Morales would also have a big story, and it would, you know, you'd be spending as much time playing as Miles Morales as much time playing as Spider-Man. Even though you play a lot more as Spider-Man, which I, in fact, like, I still got to kind of take some points off them because there was just half the time no reason, in my opinion, to play as Miles Morales. I just think how Spider-Man was, the whole entire story with Spider-Man, it was so much better with Peter Parker. As well as when you get to, again, a lot of spoilers coming from now, whatever. When you get to like the anti-venom and stuff like that, man, it's just so much better to play as Peter / Spider-Man. And look, again, even though this is what I prefer, I still think when you advertise a game as like you're going to be equal of both Spider-Man, but it's really so much better to play as Peter. Peter's story is so much more interesting. There's so much more going on. Again, I got to take a point away from that, but in my opinion, that doesn't actually really affect me. I'm just, if I'm using a critic's brain here, I'm just going based off that. But look, in my opinion, I would much rather play as Peter Parker or Spider-Man. Look, those are the only negatives I've got, really. Like, the game is pretty good. The game is, as well as the glitches, like, I mean, on the first 2 days of launch, there was a lot of glitches and bugs. Like, I had to quit app, I think, twice, which was quite annoying. One of the reasons, I think, was the text and subtitles were popping up, but just no one was speaking. Like, just, it was so random. I don't even know what's going on, but you'd have, like, MJ speaking, but you couldn't actually hear her voice. You could just see the subtitles. Random ass glitch. And then the second one, I think I just kept getting stuck in like random, like if I was leveling up and the game was showing me how to do something new, usually it's like click X to progress, right? Half the time the X just wouldn't pop up and you'd be stuck in some load screen. Again, glitches weren't fun, but again, those are the only negatives. The game was pretty goddamn perfect. There were, of course, a lot of positives. Again, Peter Parker Spider-Man story was excellent. Again, this is one of in my opinion, possibly the best Spider-Man I think we've ever received. I'm, of course, a huge Tobey Maguire fan, and even though Tobey Maguire will always be my favourite Spider-Man, something about this Spider-Man from the game is pretty perfect. Like, it's almost like it's a combination of everything great from every Spider-Man from the movies and the comics and just put in one. It's literally like the perfect Spider-Man, really. Again, Martin Lee in this game, his character is so good, and I loved how they kind of redeemed him. Unfortunately, he did a lot of bad things in the first game that it kind of makes you want to forget them in the second one, but look, in my opinion, even though I know Martin Lee wasn't created by Insomniac or for the games, he was actually a comic book character, I think, created in the early 2010s. In my opinion, he's a game villain. He's the Spider-Man games villain, right? I feel like Insomniac kind of coined him as their own. He was pretty much the main villain of the first game, and he was really influential in this second game, and I very much do think he is going to be in the third game as well, having some role, because in my opinion, he is like Insomniac's villain. He is kind of like coined by them. Even though he wasn't made by them, it just, to me, feels like he is the game's villain, right? The anti-venom suit was also extremely surprising. I did not expect to see this suit in the game whatsoever. I was so shocked when it came out of nowhere, but also it made a lot of sense, and it was completely badass. It was completely awesome, and it was a great idea to put in, and how it was executed with Martin Lee, because you have Peter have all these awesome symbiote powers, but then he can't use them later on in the game, and you're thinking, well, how the hell, this is so awesome, but now I can't use these abilities, but then the anti-venom happens and you then can. Again, the acting and voice acting was terrific. Yuri Lowenthal was awesome. The guy who plays Miles Morales, I think it's Najee Jeddah, if I remember right. He was also in the movie Wonder. Awesome actor. He is the perfect Miles Morales, in my opinion. I think he also voice acted him in the cartoons. I always said if they're going to do one in the movies, I would have liked it to be him, but now I think with how his influence has gone into the games, they're probably not going to do that. Again, Venom killing Kraven after we struggled to kill him in that boss fight really asserted how dominant of a force this Venom was, and just struck fear, I think, into a lot of gamers when playing this. It was awesome that they went about that. And I really, really liked how the game was not crowded with villains. I really, really enjoyed that. I thought the villains that they had in this game were extremely awesome, and they focused on Kraven throughout a lot of it. Venom had a lot of good screen time in this game too, and I thought Sandman was perfect to kickstart things off. I really liked his side story. And then the other one was just really like Martin Lee. He was awesome in this as well. And yeah, there weren't really too many villains. There was like 4 with a couple of side ones here and there, but yeah, and look, we know there's a lot of things going to be happening with Marvel Spider-Man 3. I'm extremely excited to see what's going to be going on there. I'll have a video talking about my theories and predictions coming out with that soon. Again, this game was near perfect other than some of the glitches and the bugs. Again, the parlay system was really, really annoying and I hated it, and I definitely think they're going to be looking to somewhat fix that in the next game because, yeah, goddamn, that was fucked in this game. Please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. What do you guys think about the new Spider-Man game? Did you guys like it or did you guys not? I'd very much like to know. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to my IRL/vlogging and my podcast. Links for them in the description down below. But as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.